All right, let's get right into it. If you're in the real estate game and you've even thought about hiring a call center, you need to listen up. This is your playbook for dodging a very real and very expensive disaster. We're going to break it all down based on a playbook that someone learned the hard way. So let's start with this number, $25,000. Now, this isn't just some figure on a spreadsheet. This is the actual price tag of a single bad decision. It's the cost of burned leads, wasted ad spend, and a damaged reputation. A total catastrophe that, as you're about to see, was completely avoidable. And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? The worst part wasn't just losing the money. It was that gut punch feeling when you realize you paid a company to actively sabotage your own business, to burn the very leads you were fighting so hard to get. That's the feeling we're going to make sure you never have to experience. So what does a $25,000 disaster actually look like from the inside? Let's pull back the curtain, because the devil, as they say, is always in the details. You know, what's wild is how it all fell apart. It wasn't just one thing. It started with agents just ghosting. Then, when they did make calls, they went totally off script. And get this, they were mispronouncing local street names. You can't do that. It just instantly shatters trust. Of course, any follow-up after that first call, totally gone. The reports they sent us looked amazing, full of fancy charts, but the actual pipeline was a ghost town. It was a complete train wreck that ended up poisoning the well for our brand in a really important zip code. And this is the key thing you have to wrap your head around. Hiring a call center isn't like buying software. You are literally hiring a frontline sales team with dozens of voices you've never met. You're handing strangers the keys to the front door of your entire business. They are the first touch point for your leads. That's a huge deal. That's why the stakes are so incredibly high. Okay, so before you even think about picking up the phone to call vendors, we gotta pause. You need to look in the mirror and have a brutally honest conversation with yourself to figure out if you're even ready for this. And this right here is the million-dollar question. Let me be clear. A call center will not fix your messy internal system. No way. It will only take your existing chaos and put a giant megaphone on it, making it louder, faster, and way more expensive. If your lead follow-up is already a mess, all you're doing is paying someone to accelerate your own failure. So let's do some quick back-of-the-napkin math. Before you talk to a single salesperson, plug your own numbers in here. Let's say you pay $3,000 a month, you send them 200 leads, and your agents close about 5% of the appointments they set. What does that spit out for your cost per deal? If that final number makes your stomach churn, well, you've got your answer. You are not ready for a fixed-fee service. Okay, so you've had that reality check, and you know what? The math actually works for you. Great. Now we get to the core of the playbook, the 11 questions that are absolutely non-negotiable. You have to ask these. This is your first filter. If you ask this and they say, oh, we work with all real estate clients, that is a massive red flag. You need specifics. Do you specialize in expireds, luxury buyers, FSBOs? Each one is a totally different conversation. And then you follow up with, great, can I talk to 2 of your current clients in my niche? If they hesitate, you know something's up. Now listen up, because this one is huge. This might be the most important question of all. See, a vendor's idea of a qualified appointment could literally be, the person picked up the phone and didn't immediately hang up. But your definition is way different, right? It's someone who's motivated, financially able, and knows they're meeting with an agent. You have to get their definition in writing, in the contract. And this just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the difference. On the left, you've got their vague, cover-their-butt definition. On the right, you have a definition that actually protects your time, your money, and your agent's morale. If a vendor won't agree to something that looks like the column on the right, you just have to walk away, period. Oh, this story just says it all. It's exactly why question number 3 is, can I review your scripts? That poor ISA, that inside sales agent, they lost a massive deal in 30 seconds. All because of a pronunciation error. You have to see what they're going to say and make sure it's customized for your town. One little mistake can make a huge commission just, poof, disappear.
So the rest of the questions are basically a rapid-fire gauntlet to see how professional they really are. You need to know their real numbers, what are their conversion rates, what happens when an appointment is a no-show. Then you dig into their operations. How do you train your people? How does this plug into my CRM, my main database? And then there's safety. How do you protect my data? And maybe most important of all, what's the escape hatch? How do we part ways if this isn't working out? A real pro will have solid answers for every single one of these.
All right, you've put them through the gauntlet, you've asked the hard questions. Now, let's look at a couple of simple frameworks to help you actually make the final call.
Think of this as your decision cheat sheet. It's pretty straightforward. If you're on the left side of this, fewer leads, super niche, and you need total control of the brand voice, you should probably keep this in-house for now. But if you're on the right side, your lead flow is massive, your agents are totally swamped, then outsourcing can be a lifesaver. That is, as long as you can afford that 3 to 6 month ramp-up period before you really see the results.
Now, when you start looking at pricing, it's usually going to fall into one of these buckets. You'll see monthly fees, per appointment fees, setup fees. It can get a little confusing, but here's the secret. Don't get lost in all these individual numbers. Your one job is to translate all of it back to that single metric we figured out earlier, your final cost per deal. That's all that matters. Okay, let's bring this all home. We're going to pull everything we've talked about into one simple, repeatable plan that you can use to protect your business and your bank account. And here it is, your whole decision map on one slide. It's just 3 steps. Step 1, reality check. Run the numbers, be honest about whether you're organized or chaotic. Step 2, shortlist. Find 2 or 3 vendors who live in your niche and hit them with our checklist. And step 3, this is crucial. Pilot and protect. You start with a short 90-day pilot program, not a year-long contract. This simple process is your shield. And just like that, by walking through these steps, you've armed yourself. You've built the exact plan you need to avoid that $25,000 nightmare we started with. You now have the control panel. Which brings us right back to where we began. But this time, instead of paying $25,000 in stupid tax to learn these lessons the hard way, you just got the cheat codes. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with the money, the time, and the reputation you just saved?